The right property manager can make your life so much easier. A professional property manager will be able to get you a good deal and negotiate on your behalf to get the best price for your house. But a bad one can be a nightmare. How do you find a good one? Today we speak to a client to hear about the nightmares they may have had with a previous property manager and how they found a good one. Stay tuned. But first, a word from our sponsor.
If you've been listening to this podcast, then you understand or should understand the pitfalls of investing in Cleveland real estate. Say you're looking for an investment property to rent, and these are the things that could happen and often do. You overpay for a house, and it's in the ghetto. Then you find that it's a money pit with endless surprise repairs. Your hapless property manager, who may be the brother-in-law of the realtor, gets a tenant who after 3 months stops paying the rent. Then the toilet explodes, and you have nobody to repair it because, guess what? The property manager is not answering the phone. Yep, that's the ugly side of the Cleveland real estate market. But we have a solution. Buy one of our properties. It's been inspected. It's been vetted. It's in a rock-solid part of town. It comes with a Gold Star tenant paying top dollar rent, and we manage it. Call us at 216-371-8160 if you're interested. Hi, everybody. Mike Riley here. We got some special guests, not Mike Ferrante this time. I think you're all getting sick of listening to him and his coffee cup. But I've got Lindsay Riley, who's runs the properties, and we have two of our clients, newbie clients. We got Randy and Michelle Smith calling in from Florida, where it's nice and sunny. And what's it, 70 degrees? A little chilly there, isn't it now? 70?
I believe we're at 82.
Yeah, 82.
82. Okay. So you don't need to put on the long underwear. So
Oh, no.
yeah. Well, here it's 70 and we're in a little bit of a warming spell. It actually got up to 40. So ha ha ha. Yeah.
That's good.
Right.
Randy, quit laughing. Okay. we it's funny when you get when it's 40 here, everybody in South Florida is probably going to hit 80. That's what I noticed. There's a direct correlation. When it's 0 degrees here, that polar vortex is trying to creep a little south of Fort Lauderdale, but it doesn't seem to get that far, it seems.
Yeah.
So,
it's nice.
Keep that out of here.
Yeah, I was about to say you can have it.
you can have it. Okay. All right. So so you're down in Florida. Lindsay's minding the store. So, hey, talk to us about what's your experience been in the last year.
Well, I mean, honestly, it started off a little rocky. Prior to meeting you and Lindsay, my husband and I had, decided to make a move here to Florida to start, I guess we can call it a retirement business. But my husband being from Cleveland, his parents, all of my in-laws still being there. A home that we really enjoyed and, did a lot of work on there. We went in and making an investment property. So initially we had found another property management company that basically, as we learned later, just really was steering us in the wrong direction. Very unprofessional. The amount of time we thought we were giving lead time to get everything prepared. We basically were days, I think, before we met you. Am I right? I think it was maybe 4 or 5 days before our move day.
Yep.
Yeah, and you moved out all the furniture.
Yeah.
Donated it.
Donated everything.
That's the only thing I remember. I said, "You what? You gave the furniture up?" So
we were instructed to get rid of it.
Yeah, we had some bad instructions. So I say that to say, the experience was really negative, and just doing some searching online, came across you. I'm not going to lie. I know this is being broadcast, but it was a little intimidating the first time I spoke to you, Mike, because you were like, well, we need to come interview you, see if this is even something that we want to do. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, there's only a few days left and, we've gotten rid of everything. Oh boy. But I know my husband and I are sitting here cracking up, smiling at each other because the day that you came into the house empty, we're like bags packed, ready to go. We literally were just so happy, and like there was such a sigh of relief when you were walking through, because it was apparent. It was so apparent that your knowledge, your experience, your time in this business, I mean, the things that you were saying with the confidence, we were just like, oh, thank God. I mean, would you agree, Hannah? I mean,
it was exactly what we were looking for. And, it's funny because even working with Lindsay has been absolutely tremendous. Working with you guys and being out of state is very difficult on real estate. We tried this once before.
Yeah.
Living in California, had a home in Cleveland Heights, and it was an absolute nightmare. We ended up coming home to sell it probably within less than a year. So there was always reservations, but I would be honest and have to say that working with you guys has been turnkey.
Yeah.
To say the least. You guys have been spot on.
Absolutely amazing. Once we had the relief of, speaking to you, and it was sort of like waiting anxiously, like, I wonder if we made the grade, if he's going to take us, So that was, our experience turned quickly. Thank you. And this is definitely, something that we definitely think and want to continue and grow. As soon as we met Lindsay and, was able to interact with her in terms of, what was needed. I mean, the amount of just on top of the professionalism, thank you, because we've had a lot of lack of professionalism, but the professionalism, the ease of working with Lindsay, just how together everything was in terms of this.
The team you guys have built, whether it be landscaping, repairs, whatever.
Well, we're not going to go into snow shoveling. I heard about that story.
Not today, but we're on to a new one, right?
That's right. That's right.
Right, Michelle.
Speaking of professional, go ahead.
Right. But you know what? That really leads me to this last situation. So, if this is being broadcast again, having an issue with our snow person, it was literally a matter of sending a text to Lindsay, letting her know the issue that I was having. And within an hour, there was already a resolution. And that's what I'm talking about. We know, we're business owners, we're seasoned professionals, and we know that everything is not going to be 100% perfect every day. But it's the fact that when there is a hiccup or there is a problem or an issue with the tenant, that it's communicated and it's taken care of. And that's exactly what Lindsay has done. I look forward to her emails because I know it's not a bunch of frivolous reading. Here's the bullet points. These are the things that we need to address. Here's what I need for you to do. This is what I'm going to do. And
boom.
It's
done.
It's done. So
we don't have to sweat it. We don't have to, spend a lot of time and energy worrying about, man, are they taking care of the house? It's being taken care of.
Mm-hmm. And our tenants are happy. Yep. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Our first set of tenants that I wanted to, reach out to them once they left and just ask them, to be very candid. Hey, this isn't going anywhere, but how was your experience? Not saying my experience was good, bad, or indifferent. I didn't share anything. I just wanted them to be candid with me. And it was nothing but praise. I mean, nothing but praise with working with you guys.
Yep.
So, for us, it was just like, well, it's great on both sides. Not even good. It's great on both sides for us and for our tenants. So thank you.
We have to. It's like a three-legged stool. It's got to work for you, the client's got to work for us, and it's got to work for the people moving in. And I'm glad, Michelle, you mentioned that interview, me interviewing you, but that's true. There's a lot of truth to that because what I've learned in the 40 plus years of starting my contracting business, you're always trying to figure out, is this going to work for me? Is this customer going to be happy? Am I going to be happy? And so that does not happen overnight when you're dealing with people. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, with the businesses you're in. And I think there's a lot more headwinds now than maybe what it was when I started in the 70s, with the internet, with the Karens and the Kevins and the social media and stuff like that. I mean, Lindsay, I think gets probably 95% grade from her clients, but then there's that 5%, whack jobs who come out of left field. And sometimes maybe the 5%, half of them are not whack jobs, but it's just the circumstances that come up. We had this one problem that happened last year where, she's in Seattle, for a long weekend with her boyfriend. They're both, runners, and, he's an Ironman, and, this and that. And, so she's taking a break, and our tenant calls, our short-term, and the lady saw a mouse. She saw a mouse. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about a rat. She's talking about a mouse that just kind of, and so she's talking to Lindsay, and Lindsay said, well, our pest control people, they're Orthodox. They don't come out on a Saturday. And this lady went nuclear. And then I had to talk to her husband, and he said, well, what do you want me to do? My husband, I said, go out, get a mouse trap. Really, what do you want me to say? CVS is around the corner. Get a freaking mouse trap. And so, and I'm sure we didn't get the greatest review, but I've learned that when I look on Yelp, looking, like let's say we're in New York, we're looking for a restaurant, and I was like going, or South Beach looking for, a restaurant, and you'll see great restaurant, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. And then you see 1 star.
1 star, yeah.
And then I'm thinking, and then they're always the same. Oh, the hostess was rude. She pushed me. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I've been to the restaurant. The hostess is an 80-year-old grandmother. Really, what are you talking about? And then, of course, when you look at that person who trashed that place, they're trashing other places as well.
Yeah,
exactly. They live to trash places.
Yeah. Sometimes you can make lemonade out of lemons. And I've had this happen a couple times last year where, we had that Cedar Road problem, Lindsay. Mm-hmm. We're not naming any names here, no subs, no clients, no, but this lady was a big time Karen. And but what I realized was that our client in DC, we were heroes taking the bullet for them. It wasn't our property, it was his property. And we're trying to, protect our client's cost. We're not on the whip end of this lady who's asking for the moon. And, the irony of it is, we may have gotten a bad review, 1 out of 10, bad review for this place. But the upshot was the client was like, oh my God, thank you. I hired these people to deal with this nutcase. So.
And that's really how Randy and I feel, especially being so far away. And there's a level of comfort that, you, Lindsay, and your team provide us. Obviously, we came out here for retirement purposes, but we're also still business owners in other aspects, and parents of 4, grandparents of 4. So, our life is very busy, and it's just such a relief having you guys manage our property. Literally, we have looked at more property in Cleveland. Strictly,
I've been pushing her. We need more.
Only if you guys will manage it. Period. End of discussion. That's it.
You'll love this, Lindsay. I literally will walk by where Michelle sits outside on the patio with her computer. Her phone will ring, and she'd be like, Lindsay, and I can hear it. I'm like, oh, it's Lindsay. Don't take care of it. Yeah. I don't even stress about it because I know whatever it is, it's taken care of. So,
it's done.
And I just told her probably 2 days ago we should look at doing more with you guys.
Well.
If you have any questions for us or topics you want to discuss or even just want to say hi, you can email us at theclevelandrealestateinvestor@gmail.com.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I appreciate you, the praise that you've given. I mean, that really means a lot to me. And especially after it's just, we're here in January at the office, we're getting really into the swing of things for the new year, developing new ideas, constantly coming up with new ways. How can we rent this property? What can we be doing differently? How can we be saving on costs? I mean, that's just all that we're constantly talking about. And right. I think that one of the things that I've noticed about working with you, and then, I mean, even though it's been not even a full year at this point, but I think one thing that I've noticed about working with you, especially with you, Michelle, I don't know you too well yet, Randy, but I'm sure I will, is that when a client like yourself is willing to just trust what we're doing and I know, I mean, it's your house, like, you want to see a nice return on investment. I get it. But if you can just see an example of when we get a tenant in and then how we just literally take over, where you are in the background and you're only getting notified about, really important things. And at the end of the month, you're getting that check just as we promised, that level of trust where I don't have to, as you being my client, I don't have to turn my head over my shoulder all the time to see if you're watching me. That just makes my job 100% easier. No doubt about it. Versus other property owners who we've worked with, they have been breathing down our neck, and that just doesn't work for us because we can't do our job. We can't do our job that way. And so I think, to people who are listening to this, if they're thinking about using our services as property managers or purchasing one of our own properties and then having us manage it, one of the things to really think about and keep in mind is that, the more helicoptering that someone does, the harder that it is for me to do my job. And we don't want to work with those kinds of clients too. That's a conversation and frankly, Mike doing the interview with you I would do the same thing. I mean, that's completely the right step to make sure that it's going to work in our favor and work in your favor at the end of the day.
It has to be a win-win.
Yeah.
I've been in sales 30, 35 years and, made a lot of deals. You don't want to make a deal with someone where one side is pissed off, like, man, I got railroaded here. So it has to be a win-win. Both sides have to feel comfortable. And I think that's what you guys have developed here and made a great business. And it's a partnership, no doubt.
Absolutely. And I definitely am a, big advocate of knowing my strengths. I went to school as, I've done computer programming. I'm a critical care nurse, and I wouldn't want someone to come in and tell me how to, ventilate a patient or do, critical care things that I went to school for and got a master's for. And which is, why as, your client, we put our trust in you. I recall, I think with this last tenant, I questioned, hey, a drop in monthly rate. And I'm not sure if this is really what we want. And I appreciated that the feedback was so educational, and it literally was not an issue for me to respond back almost immediately like, hey, I trust you. You're the professional. Let's do what you think is best. And never batted an eye about it after that, because this is your profession. And clearly you guys have a level of success that anybody would be stupid to try and challenge. So yeah, we get it. And if someone's out there looking to have a property management company, I'm telling you, like we said, we have hands down, I can't even imagine. And we know people who have other property management companies. No one has even come close to scratch the surface of what all you all provide.
I think one of the things, I'll second Lindsay's comments, appreciate your comments, and picking up what Randy said, it is a partnership. We have to, and that interview is multi-layered because first of all, I got to make sure that your house adds value to our portfolio. We're not competing with you. And so that as we develop more properties that fit our business model, our website becomes more and more the go-to website for short term in a certain area. So and I have to keep telling people and walk a fine line who call in, and I say, listen, we're not looking for more property management business. It's like me, 30 years ago. It's not like I want to paint every house in Cleveland. We did a podcast with Mike Ferrante last week. It was called Know Your Numbers. I get people calling, they say, well, I want to get, a whole big portfolio of houses. Mm-hmm. And I said, listen, you make the most out of that first house you have. You learn how to make your margins as high as they can get. And Michelle, one of the things we discovered, which is why we counseled you to take this lead, we were going into the wintertime. And the wintertime is a crazy time.
Exactly.
And those 3 months that we can fill in the dead of winter at that price point is going to make it an even better year, because we know when we get into spring, it's like it gets to be high season. So that's when, we studied our own models. I mean, Lindsay has, especially, in our spreadsheets, we can see where the dips come. And a lot of times they're not even price sensitive. It's like the demand falls off unless you have a fire or unless you get some sort of damage. Well, you know what? You're not going to hit a home run every time.
Which is not a guarantee. Exactly. Yeah.
So there is a lot of, I don't say we're day trading your house, but at the end of the day, we got to make our commission. You got to make your return on investment. We're looking for the right client the right tenant who's going to come in, is not going to destroy the property, which is a little discussed problem in, properties. We like the corporate vibe. If somebody calls and say, I'm only going to be here 3 or 4 months, I'm on relocation, that person is not going to destroy the house.
Right.
Okay. Then that's the key. And then, of course, going over the first time I saw the house, I said, I can definitely work with this. This is your house was great, well maintained. Taylor is, it's a little busy street. I grew up around the corner, but on the other hand, it's close to Gigi's, close to the bread store. It's a real nice house. It's not, it's not like you're living on Cedar Road. So the traffic is not that bad, but you know what? I knew there was a market for that house, and it wouldn't take us a lot of work, to get it filled.
No,
absolutely
and
not.
it didn't.
I want to say we hadn't even signed officially together. You guys had a tenant for us. Like, we need to do this quick.
Yeah, well, that was that's what we call a spillover. They're going into the website. We're getting calls from our vendors, ALE Solutions, CRS Housing. I mean, we're their go-to place, and they're calling us first. Right. And we just got you and said, all right, okay, everybody's winning here now.
Right.
No, it was great for us because you remember as we just said, the house was empty. We had donated all the furniture, and I remember you telling us, like, we probably could get some furniture in here. And I remember Lindsay calling me like, hey, you haven't purchased anything, have you? We have a client. And I'm like, huh? Okay. We haven't purchased anything yet.
It's amazing how fast things work. But I could also, when I saw the house and I was like, oh yeah, this is a perfect setup as a short-term rental. I personally, one of my favorite things about the house is the fact that it's completely fenced in. That's a huge thing for people with pets. So I knew that people who had pets, people who were going to be here on a short-term basis, needed something, at least at this time, preferably unfurnished. This is the perfect situation. So yeah.
And also the fact that you walk in to On the Rise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that bread store with the coffee place, the vibe is fantastic.
It's a fantastic vibe. But On the Rise, Gigi's, and really, I mean, yes, it's a quick car ride or bike ride down to John Carroll with all the restaurants out there now.
All of it.
Yeah. It's a great vacation.
Plus, really nice. What's that yoga studio? My wife goes to that one. It's got the heated floors. That's around the corner.
Well, I was
Yoga Roots.
I'm eating all the fat foods to make me fat. I should have been at the studio.
We used to wave at the people going to the yoga studio.
From the porch.
From the porch.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well, no. So I think I'm going to wrap this up. At the end of the day, for those investors who call us, you know what? You got to be real careful about the house you buy, because that house you buy has to fit what your business model is. You just don't buy a house in Cleveland anywhere. There are certain areas of Cleveland that lend themselves well to a certain type of market. Now, it's one thing if you just want to own some duplex and rent it out to a tenant long-term. I don't want to even touch that. That to me is like garbage rentals. It's just not worth it. You got fights among the first floor and second floor. Yeah. You've got, most of these duplexes that go long-term. I mean, they're just lousy deals, but people don't think about that. So somebody calling me up who wants, to invest in Cleveland, well, they got to go through some hoops, and then they got to go on the consulting tab. And at the end of the day, we know we can make the money if it's a good purchase. That's the key. Look, everybody honestly, can win.
That's how I ultimately made the call to you, because it's coming to me as you're talking. I did visit the website, and I believe, obviously I haven't been back on it because we work together now, but I believe there was a link that I needed to listen to, like a podcast first or something to that effect. And it was really just at that point, before you even stepped foot in the house and saw the house, that was educational in and of itself. Mm-hmm. And so, to anybody listening, I mean, you guys, Riley, Lindsay, Mike, and the whole team, this is the way to go. You guys are hands down the way to go. We've been gone since March. We've had 3 different tenants, and literally, I think there's been enough days in between, maybe 4, for your team to come in, make sure the house is, deep clean, whatever touch-ups or filter changes need to be made. And there's already another tenant in. I'm signing leases when we still have a tenant living in the house. I love it. This is great. So thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm envious. You're in Fort Lauderdale. And you're going to go outside. You're going to go outside, get some nice food. You're going to eat outdoors tonight. So I'm envious. Hey, listen, guys, I want to thank you for your time. And we had a little bit of problem with your house today with the locks. But other than that, we took care of that. Yeah. So one hand doesn't know what the other one's doing. The paint crew didn't lock it up right. So.
That's fine. Yeah. At least the painting got done today. Got that crack done today.
We don't want it to look. All right. Okay, everybody. Hey, you guys enjoy the sunshine. We'll talk later.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Cleveland Real Estate Investor Podcast. You can find all our episodes at www.riley-properties.com, or you can find us on your favorite streaming services like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, and more.